There ain't nothing quite like a good boss fight, the culmination of all your work to reach that point in a game. Hopefully they're worth the effort, or at the very least, have a kick-ass bit of music to help you get in the mood for taking these guys out. Music really is an important tool for a lot of games to help convey the appropriate emotions, made even more important for all the epic encounters. But I'm not here to talk about the same stuff as everyone else, so you can take your Gangplank Galleon and Bowser battle tracks and shove them, because today we'll be taking a look at 10 underrated boss themes in video games. Of course, these are all my personal picks based on what I've played, so if it's not featured, I probably haven't played it. And just remember, we're discussing the music, not the actual fight itself. So strap in and strap on those headphones for some ear goodness. Starting off hot with Sonic 2, a whopper soundtrack on this bad boy, but let's be real, I am kind of cheating with this first spot. The track in question is for Death Egg Zone, the final stage of the game featuring a battle against both Metal Sonic and finally Robotnik. But for some strange reason, this amazing track is only heard for a couple of seconds at the start of the level before the standard boss music replaces it. And we never get to hear it again. What's up with that? I personally think this track shits all over both of the other boss themes here, and it's truly disappointing to see it wasted like this. Despite your opinions on the Skylanders series, most of the games have some really good music, particularly in the boss department. Shout out to Drill X, but also from Skylanders Giants is this track from the final battle against Chaos. It keeps a strong, energetic pace, which is something I always look for in great boss music. Starting off as a techno remix on Chaos's theme, and slowly transitioning into a remixed version of the main title theme. The sinister turned triumphant music accompanies some fun action to end off this game. Bad Man is the second track featured in Left 4 Dead 2's Dark Carnival finale. And man, let me tell you, what an awesome moment mowing down zombies to a great rock song. All of the Left 4 Dead finales were enjoyable, but standing on stage in concert to this song just puts it on a whole other level. Insert fireworks and yeah, this is still wicked almost a decade later. The only problem is that it's so wicked, I almost don't want to leave just to keep the tunes roaring. All we need now is a Midnight Riders reunion tour into a new game for the series.
Head straight down, looking for some women and whiskey. A ball fight to stop the night, and I'm looking for a kid in a frisk me. Nice legs, making me beg. You're mini and you're at 6 mile. Live slave.
Ty the Tasmanian Tiger. How have I never talked about him before? Anyway, this game has a dope soundtrack with plenty of memorable, exciting tracks. But inside Bull's pen, while the Razorback doesn't put up much of a fight, the music here is still bloody exceptional. From the electric guitar and keyboard mixed into the drums that keep that tempo fast, this is a prime example for a good bit of music elevating an otherwise pretty mediocre boss fight. A common theme for this thylacine. Holy shit. You want to talk badass, heavy-hitting soundtracks? Look no further than Enter Electro on the PS1. A sequel to one of the most beloved Spider-Man games ever made, number 2 is shockingly overlooked by most. Probably because of its release date against 9/11, with a final boss on top of the World Trade Center. Yeah. But from the start at least, things were looking good and sounding great. The first foe Spidey meets on this journey is Shocker in this time-sensitive, claustrophobic encounter. I wouldn't say it's a great battle, but it's still fairly enjoyable, and the music just perfectly sets the tone. I was originally considering the first fight against Electro towards the end of the game, which is also a good track, but I think I prefer Shocker's theme, for the grittier sound. It almost reminds me of something you'd expect from Manhunt, making this such a sinister track. Now, we've had a lot of heavier stuff so far, just because I generally feel it helps to add excitement to a boss fight. But intensity is something this next song from Disney's action game featuring Hercules does incredibly well. Up against the Hydra in what might possibly be one of the best boss fights ever translated from a movie. I love this game, and since I first played it as a kid, this music and this battle have had a lasting impression on me, thanks to the direness conveyed in this scene. Keeping on with some more awe-inspiring sounds, Shadow of the Colossus is our next stop. Easily one of my favourite opponents of the entire game is this one here, known as Phalanx. But that's a dumb name, so I just call him the one that flies over the desert and is indescribably magnificent. Riding aggro up alongside as he flies down low, we have to make the jump and climb up its wings to even get in position to bring this bad boy down. Gameplay wise, I can't say I've ever played anything else like this, and the adrenaline rush from this orchestral soundtrack just heightens how impactful this moment is. Alright, enough of that atmospheric stuff, back into the bangin' tunes. Bully has a great soundtrack with a lot of amazing music, but taking on Russell in the whole is a shift in gear for this game. While at its core, it is just a high-energy fight song, it helps to add some gravity to the story events taking place around this fight. I should also point out that I did consider the much more well-known epic confrontation track, as well as the fight music versus Johnny in the junkyard. And while both of those do help to make up this great soundtrack, I think Russell here deserves a little more appreciation. Rival Schools United by Fate featured on my top 10 underrated soundtracks list, so of course we need to talk about it again here. As a fighting game, technically, every stage could be considered a boss if you really wanted, but for this spot, I'm going with a major story conflict. Well, depending on whose story you're playing through anyway. This is a stage with difficult opponents at the end of the arcade campaign, and as for the music, I really like the slow, mysterious build-up before the drop into the synth metal rock sound that helps the battles on this stage feel all the more epic. We've listened to some really good fight songs already in this video, and I did my best to make selections from a large variety of different games. But it's time for the final boss, so before we take a listen, here are some honourable mentions. Crash Bandicoot is a king for some of the best soundtracks throughout the years. And since we're talking underrated boss themes, despite most of the bosses in this series being wimpy garbage, all of their unique themes could easily be worthy of this top spot. But it seems that people would rather bicker and complain at each other, debating which is better. The slow, menacing version of Cortex's theme from the original game? Or his much more energized remix from Warped? Well, I'm here to tell you no. You're both wrong. Cortex's final fight theme from the second game is vastly superior. Now, of course, this finale can fuck right off for all I care, and to be honest, that's probably why a lot of people forget just how amazing this track is. Because the fight is over before you even get to hear the music. But there is just so much more energy, character and pizzazz to this version from Cortex Strikes Back that all of your favourite classics simply pale in comparison. Well, that's some of my favourite boss tracks I believe deserve more recognition, but I'd like to hear some of yours, so if you know a boss theme that's criminally underrated, let us know with a comment down below, followed with liking, subscribing and sharing the video. I'm Square Eye Jack and I hope you have a great fucking day. Thanks for watching.